Tag TV brings you daily news bulletin from India. Breaking news and views from India.
You're watching South Asia Newsline, and here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Tuesday, the 5th of March. PM Modi accuses Congress of Dynasty politics, champions nation first in Telangana. Maldives says Indian troops will not remain even in civilian clothing. And Maoists thrive on upheaval, can't remain stable, says Nepal PM after switching coalition. And now for all the details. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Tuesday launched a scathing attack on the Congress party and other allies of the India Alliance, asserting that unlike the opposition bloc, which prioritizes family first, he prioritizes the nation. The Prime Minister made the remarks after inaugurating multiple development projects in Sangareddy in Telangana state, encompassing sectors such as road, rail, aviation and natural gas. He expressed his vision for India, aiming to make it the third largest economy in the world. Highlighting ruling BJP's achievements, he reiterated the fulfillment of promises, including the abrogation of Article 370 in Kashmir and the construction of the Ram Mandir in Ayodhya.
उनके लिए उनका परिवार ही सब कुछ है। मेरे लिए देश का हर परिवार सब कुछ है। इन्होंने अपने परिवार के हितों के लिए देश हित को बलि चढ़ा दिया। मोदी ने देश हित के लिए खुद को खपा दिया है।
Moving on, India on Tuesday slammed Pakistan as it raised the issue of Jammu and Kashmir at the UN Human Rights Council, saying it should introspect on its own appalling human rights record and deserved global reputation as the world's terrorism factory. Jagpreet Kaur, Under Secretary in India's permanent mission to the UN in Geneva, conveyed disinclination to waste the Council's time in responding to fallacious comments about India. Without naming Pakistan, Kaur said it is unfortunate that this country continues with its diatribe against India, including by continuing to misuse the OIC's platform to further their own politically motivated agenda. New Delhi has long blamed that Islamabad provides safe haven to terrorists who carry out cross-border attacks and that Pakistan is the epicenter of terrorism. Amid strained ties with India, Maldives President Mohammad Muizzu on Tuesday announced that no Indian military personnel will remain in the country after May 10, be it in uniform or civilian clothing. Muizzu in an event said Indian military are not departing, they are returning after changing their uniforms into civilian clothing, and the country must not indulge in thoughts that instill doubts and lies. The statement came as China has signed a defense cooperation agreement with the Maldives to provide free military assistance to foster stronger bilateral ties amid strained ties with India. Muizzu is considered close to China, and he even ran his electoral campaign on the line of India out. Since coming to power, he has taken several steps that have been unconventional from the point of view of India-Maldives ties. And Shehbaz Sharif took the oath on Monday to officially become Pakistan's Prime Minister for a second time, nearly 4 weeks after an uncertain national election caused delays in the formation of a coalition government. Sharif, who had returned to the top office, was the consensus candidate of his party PMLN and Bilawal Bhutto Zardari-led PPP. Assuming the charge, Sharif held his first meeting with his finance team, directing them to begin talks with the International Monetary Fund on an extended funding facility. Economists, investors and foreign capitals would now be watching closely for an announcement by Sharif on the cabinet, especially the important finance portfolio. The next finance minister will have to lead tough talks with the IMF to get a new multi-billion-dollar funding agreement. Moving on, scores of forest workers in POK who were recently laid off held a massive protest to demand reappointment. They alleged discrimination and said they were also not being paid fair wages.
Hundreds of Beldar or labourers in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir who have been dismissed from their jobs by the local authorities held a massive sit-in protest recently to express their anguish. Hired on a meager salary, 954 Beldar were hired for forest protection and plantation by the Forest Department, but they have now been fired, citing no budget. The protesters demanded reappointment and benefits proportional to inflation and equal to their Pakistani counterparts.
इंतहाई जुल्माना फैल है, तो हम पुरजोश इसके लिए अपील करते हैं कि इन सारों को बहाल किया जाए और अपनी नौकरी पे बहाल किया जाए। और इनको शुरू में 15,000 इनको जो है सैलरी दे रहे थे, और ये भी इंतहाई अफसोस की बात है, इनकी सैलरी 32,000 होनी चाहिए।
They demanded probe against the officials who ordered their dismissal. They said if the department did not have budget, why were they hired?
मुकाम अफसोस ये है, हमने जब हड़ताल शुरू की तो हमें पता चला कि 754 बेलदार है। उसके बाद 2-3 दिन के बाद एक और यहाँ पे पता चला कि ये 994 है। मुकाम अफसोस ये है कि मैं चीफ सेक्रेटरी आज़ाद कश्मीर से ये मुतालबा करता हूँ, जिसने गुनवाने ये साजिश की है उस अफिसर से भी पूछा जाए, उन्होंने कहा ये लोग क्यों भर्ती किया, अगर पोस्ट या रकम मौजूद नहीं थी वो ये लोग क्यों भर्ती किए।
This is not the first time. Government workers in POK have to often hit the streets to demand even their basic rights, which they say meet a bureaucratic blockade at the behest of the political leadership of Pakistan.
Amid the political turmoil in Nepal, Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal justified his change of coalition and said political upheavals are in the nature of the Maoist ideology of the Himalayan nation. Addressing an event before the swearing-in ceremony of his cabinet, Dahal forewarned that the country would continue to experience such political instability until his last breath. The event was attended by hundreds of Communist Party supporters, including the family members of those killed during the decade-long insurgency.
एकचोटी नयाँ ध्रुवीकरण, नयाँ राजनीतिक परिस्थिति सिर्जना कमरेड विप्लव सिंहले भने जस्तै फेरि एउटा नयाँ उथलपुथल भएको दिन पनि बन्यो। साँचो कुरा हो, माओवादी जहिले पनि सिद्धान्त र व्यवहारका दृष्टिकोणले जमेको पोखरी जस्तो गरेर बस्ने होइन, गडगडाउँदो खोला जस्तो, गडगडाउँदो नदी जस्तो बग्ने नदी हो। यो निरन्तरतामा रमाएर स्थिरतामा बस्न सक्दैन। यो निरन्तरतामा क्रम भङ्ग गर्दै नयाँ नयाँ परिस्थिति सिर्जना गर्दै अगाडि बढ्ने जात हो माओवादी। त्यसमा उथल-पुथल भइ नै रहन्छ। मलाई घेरा हालेर सिद्ध्याउन धेरैचोटि कोसिसहरू भए प्रतिक्रियावादीबाट। घेरा तोड्दै आएका छौँ, तोड्दै जान्छौँ।
Dahal, a former Maoist guerrilla leader, had formed a coalition cabinet including the Nepali Congress and other smaller groups last year, ditching his support to KP Sharma Oli CPN-UML. However, Dahal-led Maoist Centre Party had criticized the Nepali Congress for not giving him free hand and putting hurdles to removing some ministers with whom he was not satisfied. Nepal has had 13 governments since it abolished the 239-year-old monarchy in 2008 and became a republic. Amid the ongoing edition of India-Japan joint exercise, Dharma Guardian, the Indian and Japanese troops showcased their abilities on the obstacle course as a part of the joint training efforts between the two nations. Earlier this week, the 5th edition of the exercise, which is being held at Mahajan Field firing ranges in Rajasthan, also witnessed the two sides performing various battle drills to prepare for semi-desert operations. The exercise enables the two sides to share their best practices in tactics, techniques and procedures of conducting tactical operations. The annual exercise is conducted alternatively in India and Japan. In the ongoing edition, the Japanese contingent is being represented by troops from the 34th Infantry Regiment, while the Indian Army contingent is being represented by 19th Battalion of the Rajputana Rifles. The 2-week-long military exercise is scheduled to conclude on Saturday. That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time tomorrow. Good night.
Tag TV brings you daily news bulletin from India. Breaking news and views from India.